Hello dear students, today we will study about center of mass. So you might have studied about the concept center of mass in lower classes as well. It is a point with where the whole of the mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated. It may lie within the body or it may lie outside the body. So for this we take the examples. Suppose this is a disk. So disk is a body having mass everywhere, uniformly distributed mass. Then the center of the disk will be its center of mass. If you have a ring, then mass is lying in the outer region, but still center of mass lies at center of the ring. So in disk, center of mass lies within the body. In a ring, center of mass lies outside the body. The motion of the body under the effect of external forces is such that all the forces are directly acting at center of mass of the body. So center of mass concept simplifies the problem in this way that whenever we apply different forces on a body, then we can deal with a body in such a way that whole of the mass is concentrated at the point. That point is called center of mass. And instead of dealing with the forces acting at various parts of the body, we deal as if all the forces are directly acting at the center of mass and the motion of the body remains unaltered. So in this way the motion will be studied in a very simple way and problem will be very easy to deal with. So this is the utility of center of mass. So now we will derive various expressions related to center of mass concept. Consider a system consisting of n particles of masses m1, m2, m3, mn. add position vectors r1 vector, r2 vector, r3 vector, rn vector respectively. Then center of mass of the system is given by so capital R, it is position vector of center of mass. It is given by m1 r1, m2 r2, mn rn, m1, m2, mn. So it can be written like this. This formula you might have studied in lower classes. MI summation mi. So it can also be simplified like divide by capital M. This is the expression for center of mass, where capital M is equal to summation I 1 to n mi, total mass of the system. Here capital R is position vector of center of mass. So I am writing the center of mass COM in a shorter way. So this is the expression. So now we try to study the various other cases related to center of mass concept. So first case is cross multiplying. Differentiate both sides. M common. Mass is constant, so can be taken as common. So here small mi is mass of the individual particles present in the body or present in the system. Again constant taken outside. So this can be written as r dot. Ri dot. So if we take R dot as capital V, it is velocity of center of mass of the system due to the various external forces acting on the body. Ri dot, it is small vi. It is velocity of individual particles present in the system. So this equation can be modified as mv summation I 1 to n mi vi. So now we will rewrite this equation in words. So if you look at this, it is mass of one particle into velocity of the particle. So it is momentum of single particle. summation sign. So total momentum of the system. So it means total linear momentum of the system is equal to now come to this product of total mass of the system and velocity of center of mass of the system. So if you understand this point clearly, then you will understand that there is no need to deal with the total system individually, all the particles present in the system. Rather, we prefer to deal with center of mass. So we need only two things: total mass of the body and velocity of the center of mass. So it simplifies our problem. Second case, differentiate this equation further. So we get d over dt mv derivative with respect to time mi vi. So m common, summation common, mi common as they are constants. So here we can write it as ma vector. So it is mi ai. So here capital A vector it is. So what is capital V? Capital V is velocity of center of mass. So derivative of capital V is acceleration of center of mass of the system. Small ai, it is dvi upon dt. Vi is the velocity of the individual particle, so it is acceleration of the individual particle in the system. So this equation can be written as summation I 1 to n fi. So this is total external force acting on the system. F1 is the force acting on the first particle, F2 is the force acting on the second particle, and their summation for all the particles is total external force. So we can write it like this: F external. So in words we can rewrite it the product of total mass of the system and acceleration of center of mass of the system is equal to the total external force acting on the system. Third case. So as F external, total external force, it is equal to mass into acceleration. So acceleration of center of mass, so it can be written as derivative of velocity of center of mass. So in an isolated system, so what do you mean by isolated system? Yes, isolated system is that system in which no external force is acting on the system. So external force acting on the system is zero. So this equation can be written as, here we should write M. So dV upon dt should be 0. So here velocity should be constant. So again we can write it in words that in an isolated system, in which no external force is acting on the system, the center of mass moves with constant velocity. Fourth important point, as we have derived R is equal to summation I 1 to n MIRI upon summation I 1 to n Mi. So for two particle system, so we can write like this: M1 R1, M2 R2 over M1 plus M2. If center of mass lies at origin, then position vector of center of mass will be 0 vector. If center of mass lies at origin, then position vector of origin is 0 vector. So center of mass position vector will be 0. So from these two equations, M1 R1 M2 R2 over M1 plus M2, it is 0 vector. So we can write it like this: or we can write it like this: or we can write it like this. So from this equation we can draw two very important conclusions. First conclusion, we subdivide into two parts. If R2 vector is positive, so from this equation r1 vector will be negative. So we can depict this way. Center of mass lies at origin, m2 this way, because r2 vector is positive, it is along the positive x-axis. r1 vector is negative, so it lies along negative x-axis. Similarly, if r2 vector is negative, then r1 vector will be positive. So it can again be depicted on the same diagram, like, so this is the x-axis, suppose this is the origin, then center of mass lies at origin. So this is the case we started with, if center of mass lies at origin. Then r2 is negative, r1 is positive. So m1 will be on the positive side, m2 will be on the negative side, that is on the negative x-axis. So what is the conclusion from these two cases? That center of mass lies between two masses. So if we have two masses, then the center of mass will lie between them. So second part, we can rewrite the above equation in magnitude. r1, it will be m2 r2 divided by m1. So if m2 is greater than m1, then if m2 is greater, then r1 will be less than r2. So you can draw this inference from this equation very easily. So if we try to depict the same on the diagram, then what we will see, suppose this is x-axis, this is origin. In the starting, center of mass lies at origin. If m2 is heavy mass, m2 is heavy mass, m1 is lighter mass. So heavy mass is shown with bigger dot, lighter mass is shown with smaller dot. Then r1 vector, its value is higher, this is wrong, it should be greater than. So r1 value will be higher, r2 value will be smaller. Because if m2 is higher, then r1 will be higher. So conclusion is, center of mass lies closer to heavier body. m2 is heavier body, so center of mass is nearer to heavier body. So this is all about concept of center of mass. Thanks a lot for the today. Keep in touch.